Before we get into the video, could everyone please subscribe to my channel? Thank you so much. I was 38, but every time I looked in the mirror, there was one thing I was proud of. Time had been fair to me. Regular workouts, skincare, and a healthy lifestyle. All of it came together to keep me looking young and attractive. Nathan always told me how beautiful I was, but with how little time he spent at home because of his job, I'd sometimes forget he even said it. That morning, Nathan had left early for work. The house was quiet, and I loved these peaceful moments when I could focus on myself. I decided to take a shower. The relaxing effect of the warm water and a little self-care always did me good. I went into the bathroom, put a face mask on, and stepped into the shower. As the water warmed my body, I tried to clear my mind. When I got out of the shower, I put on my red lingerie. Red had always been my favorite. It made me feel powerful and sexy. While I dried my hair with a towel, I looked at myself in the bathroom mirror and wiped off the mask from my face. As I stared at myself, a thought crossed my mind. Nathan would have missed seeing me like this. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more captivating real-life stories. Watch this video till the end because this story is going to be incredibly interesting. At that moment, I had completely forgotten about Ethan's return. Nathan's son had come back after his struggles, but honestly, I hadn't really gotten used to his presence. The house was usually just Nathan and me, so I'd forgotten he was even there. The sound of the door suddenly opening shook me out of my thoughts. "Ethan!" I almost screamed. Ethan was standing at the door, trying to avoid eye contact while processing the situation. "Ah, Clara. I'm sorry. I saw the door open. I was going to get in the shower." His voice was shaky and embarrassed. We locked eyes, and the weight of that moment settled over me. My hand instinctively reached for the towel, but it was already too late. Ethan's face was bright red, and my whole body was filled with an odd electricity. "Ethan, have you never heard of knocking?" I said, trying to keep my voice steady, but it was shaking. Yeah, sorry," he said, and quickly closed the door. But what was done was done. Those few seconds had shattered the routine of my life, turning everything upside down. This had to be an accident, right? But why was my heart beating so fast? Ethan seeing me like that had sparked a strange excitement inside me. I was embarrassed, but at the same time, I kind of liked it. I tried to pull myself together and close the door, but my mind kept replaying the moment I had gotten out of the shower and how Ethan had looked at me. I'd never seen myself so vulnerable, so exposed. How strange. I was embarrassed, but at the same time, excited. For a while, I didn't even realize what was happening. My confusion took over as I walked toward the mirror. I looked at myself, my red lingerie clinging to my body, glowing. My body, with the maturity of the years, still looked young and attractive. Though I was 38, these years had treated me well. It wasn't just my body. My eyes, my hair, everything still looked vibrant and fresh. My muscles were firm from working out, and my skin was soft, smooth, and flawless. Seeing that gave me strength. But on the one hand, while looking at myself, I strangely thought about that watchful look in Ethan's eyes. I wondered how he really saw me. What was he thinking? How carefully did he examine me? Something inside of me tried to stop these thoughts, but I couldn't. While my eyes were scanning myself, I was proud of my physical characteristics. How charming I looked in my red underwear. In an instant, I remembered that Ethan occasionally came out of the shower with only a towel. There was a sudden flicker in my eyes. Ethan had always been handsome. Physically, he was quite impressive. But as I started to see him that way, I was beginning to feel other emotions as well, to wonder about him and myself, to feel something for him. It had always remained a simple attraction in my head, but now these thoughts were strangely resonating in my body. Before I knew it, I was holding my breath as I followed him again with my eyes. But then I heard the voice of guilt inside me. Nathan. Yeah, he was in my life too, 47 years old and a successful businessman. He worked so much that he didn't have time for me. Sometimes I questioned my marriage with Nathan. Were we really happy? Or maybe I just got used to the loneliness. I just got used to him. Nathan seemed to have lost interest in me recently. After a long business trip, I realized it was like he never cared about me at all. I tried to fix it, but the old warmth was gone. Nathan was so focused on his work that he really couldn't give me any time. It was just another routine evening. Nathan came home from work and had dinner with us. Nothing else was different. But then he said that one sentence. "We're going to a party tomorrow," he said. At that moment, it felt like exactly what I needed to distract myself from my thoughts for the last few days. Yeah, a party. A great opportunity to be with Nathan. A few weeks ago, when I first heard about the party, I imagined having a night alone with Nathan, spending the evening with him, getting his attention, creating a little excitement. But then Ethan stepped in. "I have a flight tomorrow evening," he said. "I'm going to visit a friend. You two go to the party alone. By the time you're back, I'll already be on my flight." Ethan was always like this. When I thought about how much younger and freer he seemed, it was easy for him to do things like this. On the other hand, Nathan was so focused on his work that he didn't really care about stuff like that. I had a chance to go to the party, but Nathan's eyes had that distance in them from the past few weeks. Still, I wanted to show him I cared, so I got dressed up a bit. I put on a red, form-fitting, elegant dress, did my makeup, and styled my hair as best as I could, all just to impress Nathan. But things didn't go as planned. After the party, no matter how good I looked, I didn't get that night alone with Nathan. He was going to go out with his friends under the excuse of a business meeting and leave me alone at home. I was alone again. Alone. Something inside me broke. I didn't exactly know what it was, but I was so sad that night. The time I was supposed to spend with him slipped through my fingers. When I got home, I was drunk and alone. I felt broken. When I went upstairs and took off my clothes, the only thing that caught my attention was that after all that preparation and hoping to spend the night with Nathan, I was left in just my black lace underwear. My frustration grew. The red dress, the makeup, everything was for nothing. I felt empty in that moment. I got a little angrier, but I also thought I needed to do something to get through this night that made me feel so broken. I quickly decided to head to the kitchen, maybe a drink, maybe a cigarette. I needed to clear my head. I just wanted to relax for a moment to pull myself together. I went to the fridge, poured some alcohol into a glass, then pulled out a pack of cigarettes and lit one. The smoke made my throat feel strangely worn out. Tonight, it felt like everything had come to a halt and was stuck right in my face. At that moment, something unexpected happened. I heard a footstep, and my eyes immediately shot to the kitchen door. Ethan. Ethan was home. I didn't understand when he came back or why he was here, but in that instant, I was totally stunned. I'd been so focused on imagining a quiet night alone with Nathan, and now finding Ethan standing there in front of me had such a strange effect on me. Ethan had originally been supposed to leave, but his friend's plans changed. His flight got canceled, something I never even considered. And now, here we were, face to face in the kitchen. I was left standing there in the kitchen, confused, seeing Ethan standing in front of me like this was totally unexpected. Standing there in my black lace lingerie was definitely something I wouldn't normally do. But that's how he found me. I took a deep breath, trying to avoid looking at him, feeling embarrassed. "I'm sorry, Ethan," I said, my voice trembling a bit. "I didn't know you were here. I didn't realize it would be this weird to see you here." I lowered my head, trying not to make eye contact. I couldn't quite figure out how to express the mess of emotions I was feeling, but Ethan, without seeming surprised at all, calmly stepped closer. There was something in his eyes that shifted. He paused for a moment, then slowly asked, "Why are you crying, Clara? Why are you so upset?" His voice was different than usual. This time it sounded more sincere, more affected. His eyes seemed like they were seeing straight into my soul. As he stepped closer, he smiled, but it wasn't just a smile on his face. It was in his eyes, too. My mind was a whirlwind because I could feel. In that moment, he wasn't just affecting me physically, but emotionally as well. My feelings were so mixed up, but there was also something completely different inside me. Ethan's gaze was so genuine that instead of being afraid of the effect it had on me, I stepped towards him. With his words, the confusion inside me deepened. I opened slowly, looked up, and saw the sincere expression on his face. His gaze was so intense that I felt like he wasn't just close to me physically, but emotionally too. For a moment, I felt how broken I was, the frustration of not being able to have the night I had imagined. Tears quickly started to fall from my eyes as Ethan got closer. He softly said, "Clara, do you know how beautiful you are?" His words made me feel a bit of relief, but also left me shocked. "I've noticed how Nathan hasn't been able to give you enough attention because of his work," he continued. "But you're really special and beautiful, and you deserve to have this night." His words comforted me a little, but my feelings still weren't settling. I felt so complicated and intense inside that even being this close to him was preventing everything from going back to normal. Ethan's eyes were so deep that I felt myself getting lost in them. In that moment, my mind seemed to freeze, and slowly I took another step toward him. Ethan stood frozen in surprise as I took a step toward him. I saw the expression in his eyes change, and I couldn't make sense of the emotions inside me. Then everything happened in an instant. The inner conflict I was feeling mixed with the overwhelming desire to kiss him. For a moment, all I wanted was to get closer to him and let go. Then, in a moment of impulse, I kissed Ethan. It happened so quickly. I hadn't even prepared myself for it. My eyes closed, and as my lips met his, time seemed to stop. The warmth I felt, the rapid beating of my heart, and the tension in his body, all of these made me forget everything in an instant. At that point, I could feel Ethan waiting for me to kiss him back. The warmth on my lips clearly showed me how strong his response was. Slowly, as his hand slid to my waist, the distance between us disappeared completely. All the complex emotions inside me instantly shifted into a rush of desire. As I heard his breath, I instinctively pressed myself closer to him. Quickly, we moved from the kitchen toward the living room, our lips never parting. With every step, our bodies collided with the walls, and in that moment's intensity, we embraced each other tighter. As Ethan's hands roamed my body, we collided with the walls and moved toward the living room door. Then somehow, we found ourselves on the couch in the living room, side by side, breathless. Ethan had left his pants in the kitchen next to the couch. My black lace underwear lay on the floor. I realized how strange the moment was, but at the same time, I had completely lost myself. I opened my eyes and looked at him, taking deep breaths. Noticing how quickly everything had escalated, I read the expression on my face and smiled faintly. His eyes still showed how much he was affected by me. He took a deep breath, looked at me, and said, "Clara, what happened? Why did we do this?" I, a little surprised but also somewhat relieved, followed his gaze. I didn't know what to say, but I had to say something. "It just happened in the heat of the moment," I said, my eyes shifting to him. "But I don't know, I just wanted to let out the feelings inside me. I thought I couldn't spend this night any other way." Ethan nodded and slid his hand through my hair. "Is it really wrong for us to get this close?" he asked. Ethan's hands were on my waist, and his fingers wandering over my body left a deeper impact with every passing second. My breath was short as he looked into my eyes. He took a deep breath and leaned in toward me slowly. He began speaking as if opening up. I had been betrayed, Clara. I was going through a really tough time. But right now, I feel completely different, he said. The sincerity in his voice surprised me, and at the same time, it eased me. He took another step closer, and I felt myself getting lost in the depth of his eyes. I feel so close to you. These feelings surprise me, but I can feel you, Clara. I can feel you so close. All my emotions mixed together in an instant, but my heart was beating fast. Ethan's words showed how strange and complex everything was, but there was something. At that moment I could feel the closeness, his approach, the way he was moving toward me. Hearing what was going through my mind affected me in an entirely new way. Slowly, as I found his eyes again, I said, "I was alone, Ethan. I was really alone, but right now everything is so different. For the first time, I feel like this, young, excited and lost. I feel like something is changing," I said, my voice trembling. It was really hard to express what I was feeling at that moment, but what Ethan made me feel was all too real. Just then, the door opened. A voice came, "Clara!" Nathan walked in through the door, his eyes wide in shock as he saw us both. In that moment, everything froze. Time seemed to stop. Ethan and I, staring into each other's eyes, froze, not knowing what to do. Nathan was trying to figure out what was going on between us, shock and anger all over his face. His eyes were wide, and he froze for a second, holding his breath. And that's when all hell broke loose. "What the hell is going on here?" he said, his voice rough and angry. Everything spiraled out of control in an instant. Nathan's voice was so loud and full of rage, it felt like it was shaking the walls of the house. There was anger and disappointment in his eyes. "What the hell is going on here?" he asked. But soon after, it wasn't so much the question as it was his anger and bitterness that showed all over his face. He turned to Ethan, pointing at him with shaking hands. "Get the hell out of here! You don't belong in this house anymore," he said. "She's my wife. She's your mother. You shouldn't have dragged her into this. What the hell do you think you were doing, huh? How could you two just disregard me like that?" I couldn't say anything. I was in such shock. My eyes were welling up. But I didn't cry at that moment. Nathan was blaming me, making everything feel like it was my fault. What was I supposed to say? Could I even respond to his anger? "Why, Clara? Why the hell did you do this?" Nathan kept going. "What did I ever do to you? How can someone be okay with losing both their husband and their son like this? You looked me in the eye and lied. That's all I felt, broken inside." But not a single word came out. My eyes were filled with tears, but no matter how sad I was, I couldn't bring myself to speak. Nothing was going to change. I knew that. Then Nathan shouted, "Oh, come on, get out! There's no place for you two in this house anymore." Pushing us out the door, Ethan and I locked eyes. We didn't say a word for a while, but we both knew how mixed up we felt inside. After a bit, Ethan calmly said, "Let's go." I nodded. "Let's get out of here." As we stepped outside, the tears just wouldn't stop. The guilt I felt inside was too big for crying to even help. My head was spinning. I didn't know what to do or where to go. Everything had happened so fast. I'd acted without thinking, and now I was lost in this mess that was unfolding. Being with Ethan, thinking about how much I'd hurt him, it ate me up. How could I have done this? I whispered to myself, covering my face with my hands, still crying. What did I say to Nathan? How did I betray him? With every step, the regret grew deeper. I knew I had no idea what to do, but somehow I thought these feelings would pass with time. Ethan pulled away, but even his leaving gave me a small glimmer of hope, if only for a moment. "Go ahead, do it. Everything's going to be different for me now," I said, watching him walk away. I took another step forward in time. Being alone, despite the darkness I was in, would bring me light again. For a second, I took a deep breath and found strength within myself. I would get through this somehow. I would find myself again. Everything would start over. If you've made it this far, I know you're hooked on the story. There's so much to share, and you don't want to miss any of it. Don't forget to hit the follow button, turn on notifications, and leave a comment on this story. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts, so let's chat in the comments.